Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to episode 135. Today is November 16, 2022. We are discussing the future of title and escrow. I'm Anna Atencio. For those of you who don't know me, I am the CEO of Propy Title. Today, our guest is Mark Stiles, and I would like Mark to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about who he is and where he's from. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Anna, and thank you for welcoming me to this community, this wonderful community. Mark Stiles, have been a title and escrow attorney up in New England, in Massachusetts, for 26 years. I have a company called Stiles Law because we're an attorney-only state in Massachusetts, but I also do title and escrow in New Hampshire and Florida. We focus on having an enjoyable experience as opposed to a rocky process with our title and escrow. I also have a business development podcast called Elements of Stiles. So I enjoy the audible.
I love that.
Yeah. Thank you. The play on words from the Strunk and White book. And I would love to do a series. So if anyone's listening who wants to be on a podcast, I'd love to talk deeper about this because I love it. I'm always forward thinking, which is why I made my way down to the Propy event in Miami last month. And I'm really excited to learn from you, Anna.
That's awesome. You know, that's where I met Mark. We met at the Propy Summit in October, and we had a great deal to talk about. I think our conversations went really well at the times that we met. Tell me what your takeaway was.
Oh, wow. I mean, so coming from limited experience in that Web3, crypto, blockchain, all of it, had watched Propy do the transfer in Tampa, had followed and stayed in touch and said, you know what, I have to see what these folks are doing. So the takeaway is the blue sky. I mean, the fact that there is so much. And I was looking at my notes this morning. I took 40 or 50 pages of notes, scribbling it down, took the books and realized where the new frontier was. And it's so many takeaways. I mean, the way it was presented, folks, and if you're thinking about going to the March one, I highly encourage you to do so, because they presented to everybody, from everybody. I really thought it was very thoughtful and how they presented the information. So there was something for everyone, whether you're in title and escrow, whether you're a real estate agent, whether you're in finance and venture capital, all of it was there, delivered by various different people who you could connect with, right? So there was somebody that you could really feel connected with. The speakers were unbelievable. But the biggest takeaway that I left with was that it takes a community. We all would have to rise up abundantly together as opposed to fighting our way against each other. And that is something we live by, share everything you know. And all boats rise with the tide, right? So that really hit me close to home, but also the messaging, right? How words are so very important in this, when people immediately object to the conversation and they push back. No, that's not going to work. It'll never work. And simply how to communicate with people, why do you say that? And then share experiences instead of tell them why they're wrong. And it was really fascinating. And the future of what we do is clearly applicable to this new blockchain technology and what we're looking at going forward. And I want to be a part of it. I've always been forward thinking in my business. I've always seen myself as identifying trends and getting involved early and pulling the team through that. So this is no exception. And I think, again, another takeaway was I forget who said it on stage, but they said, remember when the internet first came about and there were a lot of people saying, it's just a fad. It'll pass. Don't get too concerned about it. That's where we are right now with respect to Web3 and blockchain. And I didn't get in on the .com, so I'm paying attention now.
I think a lot of us, talked to that point because it truly is, where the internet transfers data, blockchain transfers value. So that's how I look at it. And I think to write on that, I mean, let's just dive in. Let's dive
Okay.
into blockchain. In my opinion, blockchain is the inherent system of trust. It is the ideal technology for the real estate transaction process. It's immutable, it's trustworthy, and it's transparent. So, give me your thoughts on blockchain.
Well, the transparency is so beautiful. Another thing they were talking about was the fractional ownership and where I mean, that could go in so many different directions.
Right.
My mind was racing as people were talking, but I think it's the logical next step, right? They talk about Web 1 being the read only, right? So you're
Right.
dealing with Web 1, and it's basically what our registry of deeds are now, right?
Right.
You can go onto the site, you can look, you can see, but you can't manipulate it, right? And Web 2 was more of the social networks and the amending and commenting and engaging. But Web 3 is, like you said, it's fully transparent, fully safe, fully secure. And I'd love to see how these bridge together sooner than later, truly. And I love what you all are doing at Propy, which is why I'm here looking to learn some more and how
Right.
to get involved.
So, yeah, and that's exactly what we do. Our system provides for security. In our industry, I believe one of our giants is to prevent wire fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Wire fraud, is up in the billions of dollars where, homeowners come, with their life savings to purchase a home. And in the end, they find that their money is stolen somehow. So, broken hearts all over the place. And it's just a shame. So, with the ability to prevent that from happening, that's something our platform allows for. And I think that everybody in our industry wants to prevent that from happening. There's no militia on our end, it's coming from elsewhere. So I believe that one of our greatest strengths besides blockchain is the security that our platform provides, so that the prevention of wire fraud is here and it's here to stay. So let's break through those walls of those people getting in and place a steel bracket there so that they cannot.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit, because this is the biggest issue in our industry, without a doubt. I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry of wire fraud, and it's so
Yes.
easy for people to fall prey, especially the consumer, right? So if the consumer gets hacked and they send the wire to somebody different, and we do all that we can, right? We send it, we hand it, we certify it through encrypted email, we fax it, we re-verify it, we make additional phone calls. What is it that we do with Propy Title's platform that we can avoid all of that, but B, button down even more?
So, the way that fraudsters are gaining the access to a transaction is through email. And 9 times out of 10, it comes from the agent's email, where the hacker will come into the agent's email, take that address. They have an address, they have a buyer's name, and they go through and they send those wire instructions to the buyer with their wire instructions, and then that's how they're taking the money away. What our platform provides for is only the buyer can see those wire instructions. Nobody else, no other participant, even in that transaction, can see those wire instructions. They're not sent anywhere. They're not emailed. They're not texted. They're not sent in any mean of media. They have to log in to gain access to those wire instructions. Then it's a simple call. They call in, verify, is this you? Yes, it is. Here's the last four. And they go on with their day. So they know that they're secure. They know their money is safe. We then, automatically upload a earnest money deposit receipt. Platform does it automatically through smart contracts. And it's just, that is exactly how it's done. The transparency is there. Everybody sees it. Anybody who's a participant, of course, not anybody who would not be a participant to that transaction, they don't have the need to know. So nobody's invited. That is how we prevent wire fraud.
So what are they logging into? They're actually logging into blockchain?
They're invited into our platform. And once a transaction comes in, it goes from offer management over to the transaction platform. Once it's in the transaction platform, there is a timeline that you as a title agency would set up according to an agreed upon contract. So you place those timelines in however it is that your agency works and what you cater to your clients. You place that timeline in. They have the visibility to see where are we in this transaction. So it eliminates a great deal of phone calls to you. Then as everything goes through, you can send through DocuSign, send everything out to be electronically signed, and everything comes right back into the system automatically. So everybody knows what comes in. Title commitment, they get a notification. Earnest money deposit, a notification sent out. Everything along the way, when it's in there, they get a notification. Each individual participants, buyer, seller, agent for the buyer, agent for the seller, have their own document or their own folder to accept those documents in. Once it goes through the transaction and we're to the deed, the QR code is placed on the deed. It is then sent out for, of course, you have to go through a notary to have that signed, right? That is the one document that has to be signed in front of a notary, whether it's Ron. I don't know if your state accepts Ron. Most states now are on Ron, or we send out a notary to have that deed signed in front of them so that it's legit and we know that that seller is who they say they are. So then it's recorded in the county, placed back on the platform, and then it is searchable on Etherscan or any other way of searching for blockchain. One set of documents for the buyer, one for the seller, one for the agent, buyer, one for the seller's agent.
So in essence, we're recording status quo as it's been done in their local registries of deeds, but we're also starting the timeline for blockchain for the property.
Yes.
So you're in essence tokenizing the deed. Is that the strategy?
Well, so if people need to understand how blockchain works, where it gets recorded on the chain, then it is splattered all over. Just think about, a BB gun or one of those pellet guns, and it's got one bullet where it goes out and it shoots out a bunch of BBs, right? That's what blockchain does. So in order for somebody to change that record, they would have to know every node of where that was splattered to. That's where the security comes in. And that's what is so crucial for our consumers. It prevents deed fraud. I don't know if you have heard of deed fraud or if you know of anybody that has been a victim of it, but I know several, and it's not good. They have to hire attorneys to prove that they're the owner of that deed. They have to go through a lender, then that next lender who has that lien on top of them, they then have to hire their attorneys. It's just a huge, drawn out, unnecessary process. If you record it on chain, the judge, you could just show it. Here's my deed of record. It was recorded on chain. It's legal. Here it is. And then done deal.
And then nobody can deed that away without
That's correct.
you.
Yes. Right.
So can we talk about the Propy software for a second? So as everyone has their own individual identifier to log into the group platform, right? So certain things they see, certain things they don't see. What about when the buyer or the seller rather wants funds delivered to them? They upload their wiring instructions to the title company so the title company can verify and it's all within that platform.
Correct. Now nobody sees what they send to us either. They have their own folder. So everything that comes in and out is just a two-way street. So it'd be just like me talking directly to you.
Right.
So when we send out the document, I don't know what you do, but we send out a document, they fill it out, they sign it electronically, meaning that they're verifying they are who they are. They send it back to us. We call them to verify their wire instructions, and it's only between me and you. You're the seller, I'm the title company. We're verifying those wire instructions.
And it takes away a lot of the aggravation and stress, obviously. The stress is
Stress,
the biggest
yes.
thing. Yeah.
Yes, huge. I know a lot of realtors who will go to a title agency, pick up their wire instructions,
Mhm.
and hand deliver to their buyers and sell or their buyers.
Yeah, it's dangerous. So
Mhm.
as the process goes, they're being notified, everybody's being notified through the journey of the platform and telling them where we are in the platform and to get ready for this and do that. And then congratulations. And we record regular, but we also start the blockchain. So the
Yes.
next time they go to sell, what do? Are they going to go blockchain only?
No, they can, this is where in the beginning, when you said we collectively need to work together,
Yeah.
we need to collectively work together to get the word out about how important blockchain really is and how secure it is for our consumers. And it's not just in our industry, it is everywhere. Everybody is taking, some kind of a attraction to this blockchain thing because of the security. They know that they're like architects, they're placing all their plans on chain. I know a lot of people who are in the music industry, they're putting their music on chain. And, it's kind of like a copyright that it's just theirs and it doesn't go anywhere. Nobody can manipulate it in any way, shape, or form. But for title and escrow, I won't even put escrow in there because the security comes from the prevention of wire fraud. Now, us as a title agency sending money out, it is our due diligence that we need to go over when we send a wire out to a payoff to whoever it is that we're sending our wire out to. We have to do our due diligence to ensure that it's being sent to the proper place. We know what to do. We've been in the business. We know what we're up against. So if we lose money, that's on us. But if your consumer is losing money, that's another thing. We need to help those consumers. We need to educate them on blockchain. We need to educate them that fraud is real. And when the money is gone, it's gone. There's no way you can get it back. And we need to educate, I think, other title agencies on how important blockchain truly is, because this is the beginning.
And where do you think it's going to go?
In my opinion, this is the way of the future.
Yeah.
I believe we're going to break through and speak with the municipalities and get them on board with what this is truly about so that they can understand. I mean, it's already moving. There's a municipality in Vermont, I won't name names, but they're willing to give it a shot to where they're going to put their data onto the blockchain and see, do some trial runs. Of course, they want to make sure that it's going to be something that is going to be useful. But if you think back in the day, I owned a title plant in New Mexico. When I purchased it, that was in 2005. Their data records, went back more than probably 30 years, but it was a lot of microfiche. It was a lot of paper. It was a lot of, the medium was, if you had a flood, it would disappear. Look at what happened with Katrina. After Katrina happened, they had a hard time, homeowners had a hard time proving that they owned that piece of land. So I knew firsthand when I first purchased that plant, I had to get everything scanned in, and so that I would have a digital piece of that document because it fades throughout the years, paper fades. So that was the first step. Now everybody is working paperless. I think, there's a lot of us now that are paperless. We have a paperless environment. No more killing trees with the exception of lenders. Lenders need their their wet signatures. So
Yeah.
we're killing a few trees, but not as many as we were in the past, right? So I think once everybody gets the message of how secure blockchain is, everybody's going to be on board, and that's where we're going to be.
So is it a matter of uploading, and I don't even know if uploading is the right term, but moving smart contracts to chain, or is it the need for the tokenization of the?
I believe it's both. You
Okay.
know, I believe it's both. So we're working with a couple of companies that are tokenizing, and we will be placing their deeds on chain. And, I'm pretty excited about that because their future, that's going to start another cycle of, the tokenized piece of it. So I think that this is definitely where we're going. It's inevitable.
Cool. So I think we have a question here. What happens if someone's NFT? Did you see that?
Yeah. What happens if someone's NFT property gets hacked? Does the hacker now own it? Well, in my opinion, again, with blockchain, it's an immutable record. It cannot be any way, shape, or form altered. It can't be hacked into. There's no way. They would have to know where every single node was that exploded to go change that record. How would they know? How would they trace those nodes? There's no way. It
So
can't
that, I
happen.
guess the hacking would probably be the wrong term, but what if somebody fraudulently was able to say, I am that person, right? I am that
How would they
person.
be able to do that when
I
it's
don't
in their
know.
wallet? So,
Right.
we're going to get off to a whole different subject if we
Yeah.
go into NFTs. Is that where we want to go?
If that's where it's going to go, I'm not sure, where it's going to go. And then this person is talking about the MetaMask wallet, but we also talked about the metaverse a lot, which is a
But let's
whole
not
nother
get the two confused
right,
because you're talking apples and oranges.
right,
Okay. So you have many different types of wallets.
yeah,
There's not just MetaMask. That's a wallet. So think about your personal wallet, where I don't know if you have a wallet. Do you have a
yep,
wallet that you put in
yep,
your back
I
pocket? You
do.
have your credit
Not in my
cards in
back
there.
pocket, front pocket.
Yeah. So, okay, in there you have money, you have maybe photos of your kids. I don't know. Some people still do. But you have a black wallet and your neighbor might have a brown one. I mean, everybody has a different wallet. So there's so many different wallets. MetaMask is a wallet. Metaverse
Right.
is a digital place where we're going into where realtors can buy real estate. So that's completely apples, oranges.
Yeah. And that's a fun conversation to have at some
Yes,
point too. I
that's
love
next
that.
week. Stay tuned
Oh, it
next
is.
week.
Oh, cool. I'll be
Yes,
there. I'll be
right.
on next week. Yeah.
Yes,
The whole twinning concept I thought was really exciting, in creating a twin of your own property. And of
yes.
course, my mind started racing for all the Airbnb property owners and all that.
But you
Um,
can NFT your deed too. My home, I purchased my home in Colorado. My deed is NFT.
okay.
It's kind of cool. It's out on OpenSea, and you can see my NFT deed. It's a picture of my home with QR code on it, and it shows that I'm the owner.
And at some point, you could exchange that from a wallet to a wallet.
Yeah, I could move from my wallet to your wallet, when I sell it, if you were to buy it.
Right. And I could exchange it with crypto to your wallet.
Yeah, it's
Right.
very cool. So cool.
That was the other thing I took away. We accept crypto. Make sure that your marketing says we accept crypto, because why not?
Right. So you know about our CCA, right? Did you hear about?
Yes, I do.
Right.
I'm talking
Yeah,
to all our agents up here about it.
that's awesome. Did you yourself take it?
I haven't yet. I want to actually take it with a group of agents at the same time and talk through it with them as we go.
Yes, awesome. So now that you know a little bit about what we do, of course, you haven't been through a demo. I'd love to give you a demo. What do you think? Tell me what your opinion is on how safe blockchain should be, and how interested are you as a title agency to become a subscriber of the Propy platform? to
Well,
provide that security for your customers and their consumers.
it's vitally important. I mean, it's the number one important factor in our business is to secure other people's money, whether it's a lender's money, whether it's the borrower's money, or it's not your consumer, but the seller's money. It's so very important. But what I love about the platform that we're definitely going to schedule a demo for is the journey part of it, right? It's interactive. Again, we're all together, right? We're sharing, we're collaborating. There's no reason for obstacles or confrontation. And if we can develop, which we have here, developed really solid agreements, right? So if those are converted to smart contracts, we're going to create efficiencies too. And again, that's what brings the excitement, right? The security, the safety, so we can sleep at night, but also the efficiency and the experiential selling that we can have with our consumers, right? So the referral partners with the real estate agents and the lender professionals that we work with to be able to say, like, we're going to be showing transparently every step of this experience to people, and they can jump in and jump out, and we're all in it together, which I think is the most fun part of it.
Yeah. And I might add to that just so that everybody understands that, you don't have a buyer and a seller and a buyer's agent and a seller's agent, and you get into the platform. It's not like you have visibility to everybody's
Right.
information. You don't. You won't have if you were representing the seller, you wouldn't have privy to see data about the buyer and, their email address or their phone number. The buyer and the seller doesn't see each other's data. So, there's no way for them to crosstalk directly. They still need to use their agents. And I need to stress that because the importance of agents is never going to go away.
Right.
You still need to build that rapport and that trust and that relationship with your consumer, because you're the expert when it comes to that property. You are the one that's going to do your homework to say, okay, where are the schools? What does this household have in it? You're going to know who your customer is. You're going to know what their needs are, how many kids they have. Are they married? Are they not married? Do they want to live in a community that is 50 plus, etc.? The line goes on and on and on and on and on. So they will need to build that trust and that rapport with their clients. Still will always need agents.
Agreed. But when there's the joint agreement, this, the signed purchase and sale agreement, maybe the signed Alta settlement statement, maybe the deed, when that goes and everybody has access to it, it's really neat. I'm looking forward to checking it out and getting involved.
Yeah, well, we're excited to show it to you. So
cool.
I'll set you up with either Gwyneth or Ilko. There are experts when it comes to the system. They'll show you from the beginning to the end. And then, you can take a look at it and see if it's beneficial for you and how it is that you can get your clients in your area to say, hey, look at how great this is. Let's work together to get our deeds on chain.
Yeah. Well, that's the goal.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, so next week, everybody tune in. Our topic is going to be about the metaverse, and it will be with, let's see here, building a meta agent course for real estate agents. They'll talk about why the meta agent course, why now, what's the role of the agent in the metaverse, and the special feature would be we will live broadcast a segment of the course for a webinar for participants. So tune in next week, same time, and our host will be Elena and Adam on the meta course. So does anybody have any additional questions that they would like to ask before we end our segment today? You can put that in the chat.
Looks like Bob's a Massachusetts person as well. Looking forward to bringing it to the agents. We are definitely going to be bringing this to the agents, Bob. I have a real estate school and for continuing education. So I want to bring in a group of folks to go through this course.
That's great. Yeah,
One
that's
module at a
wonderful.
time.
So CCA, just so that for those of you who don't know what it is, a CCA is certified, crypto certified agent. It's a course that Propy provides. It's about, I don't know, depending on your pace, it could take a day, it could take a week, and you have a year to do it in. So there's a question. It says, what are the fees related to transacting via Propy? That's a great question. So it depends on who you are. If you're an agent, then you would have a platform fee depending on if you are working with a broker and your brokerages, part of that system, or if it is you just as an agent using it on your own. I don't know exactly what those fees are. I think it's around $20 per person monthly. It's a monthly fee, $20. You do not have to pay additional to close on chain. If Mark here becomes a subscriber, he would then have that, he would be closing on chain. To him it would be a setup fee of $1,800 and then an annual fee of $1,800, and each transaction would be $300 to close on chain. And what we usually do is we just include that in our closing fee for each state. So we pass that on to the consumer because it's their records, it's their documents. They have the access to their platform for life. So their documents don't even have to be downloaded. I actually highly recommend that they don't download them so that they don't have to safeguard them. They know they're protected on chain.
That's really interesting. Are you finding that people are interested in securing their property on chain?
Oh, yes. So many.
When
Yeah.
offered, they're taking it.
I'll tell you, last year at this time, people were like, I don't care. I
Yeah.
don't want to know. Now people are saying, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. So we're getting the message out. Municipalities are starting to open up to listen to us. They're wanting to set meetings to say, okay, where do we start? I mean, we start with legislation. I go to the meetings. Every meeting that I can get into where I know that legislation is going to be a part of, the lobbyists, I'm meeting them one-on-one to say, okay, tell me what your thoughts are. If you don't know, let me educate you. I think it's just so important that we get this word out there, and it needs to spread like wildfire.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all do it together, right?
Yeah. Yes. All right. Well, we're at the bottom of the hour. If there aren't any other questions, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And Mark, it was a pleasure to have met you in person. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to getting more involved.
Yeah, awesome. We'll be in touch.
All right. Be well, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.